Welcome back to Just Truth. Today, we're stepping into a perspective that can change how you see everything. Non-duality. Right now, you probably experience life as if you're a separate individual. You are here, and the world is out there. But what if this division is just an illusion? What if, beneath all appearances, there is only one reality, whole, seamless, and indivisible? As an analogy, think of a wave on an ocean. It rises, moves, and eventually falls back. For a brief moment, it appears distinct, as if it has its own identity. But in truth, it was never separate. From the moment it began to rise to the moment it dissolved back, it was always just the ocean itself, shaped by the forces of wind, gravity, and tides. The wave is not something apart, it is simply the ocean in motion. In the same way, what we call the self is not an isolated being, but a momentary pattern in the vast, seamless fabric of reality. We often feel separate from the world around us, as if we exist as independent entities moving through life. But just like the wave, we are not apart from the whole. We are the whole, temporarily appearing in a particular form. We are not separate from the physical world, nor are we separate from other life forms. The same forces that move the tides, form the mountains, and stir the wind are at work within us. The breath we take, the food we eat, the thoughts we have, all of it arises within the same interconnected flow of existence. Just as the wave cannot be removed from the ocean, we cannot be removed from life itself. There is no true boundary between us and the world, only the perception of one. Non-duality is the recognition that everything, every thought, every sensation, every experience arises within a single field of awareness. The mind, conditioned by habit, tells us we are isolated individuals. But when we look deeply, we find no solid boundary, no true division, only life happening. You might wonder, is this just philosophy? No, this isn't about adopting a new belief. It's about recognizing what has always been true. Non-duality isn't an abstract idea to be accepted or rejected. It's a shift in perception, a direct experience of reality as it is. Right now, our minds are conditioned to divide the world into categories. Me and you, inside and outside, self and other. From childhood, we learn to think in terms of separation. Language reinforces it. Every time we say I or mine, we draw an invisible line between ourselves and the world. But when we look deeply, we find that these divisions don't truly exist. Only life happening. Separation is a story the mind tells us, a habit of perception shaped by thought. But reality itself is seamless. Just as a wave is never truly separate from the ocean, we are not separate from the totality of existence. We are not isolated individuals moving through the world. We are the world, flowing as one. This isn't something we need to take on faith. It's something we can see directly by questioning the assumptions we've always taken for granted. When we stop reinforcing the idea of separation, even for a moment, we begin to glimpse what has always been true. Life is not divided into parts. There is only wholeness. Most of us live believing we are isolated selves, making independent choices. But every thought, decision, and action is shaped by an infinite, interconnected web: our genetics, upbringing, environment, and experiences. In truth, nothing happens in isolation. That's the heart of non-duality. There is no separate self apart from the rest of existence. This realization isn't just a philosophical idea. It's profoundly liberating. It dissolves the heavy burden of believing we are isolated individuals solely responsible for controlling and managing life. Instead of feeling like we must struggle to make everything happen on our own, we begin to see that life is unfolding through us, not just to us. When we recognize that we are not separate from the flow of existence, a deep sense of ease emerges. We no longer feel the constant need to resist, grasp, or fight against life. Challenges still arise, but they are no longer personal burdens. They are simply part of the natural movement of reality, like waves rising and falling in the ocean. This shift in perception allows us to meet life with greater openness and acceptance. Instead of trying to force things to be a certain way, we learn to trust the rhythm of existence. We move with life rather than against it. And in doing so, we experience a profound freedom. Not because we gain control, but because we realize control was never needed in the first place. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of non-duality. In our next episode, we'll look at how our minds construct the illusion of a separate self and how we can begin to see through it. Until then, remember, what seems separate is just the ocean moving in waves. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe. It not only helps you stay connected, but also improves the visibility of the channel, allowing more people to discover these insights. Thank you for being here.